assumptions in this regard upward, a persistence of oil prices at current levels or higher pose an upside risk to the forecast. As before, a sizable electricity tariff increase also remains a risk. We should have clarity on Eskom's tariff application by the time of the next MPC meeting. There are very few signs of domestic demand pressures as reflected in core inflation outcomes. Although retail sales have surprised on the upside, household consumption expenditure is expected to remain relatively subdued. The economic growth outlook remains constrained as weak confidence continues to weigh on investment expenditure. Business and consumer confidence are likely to be sensitive to the political outcomes in December. The MPC assesses the risks to the growth outlook to be on the downside. In light of the degree of uncertainty prevailing in the economy and the balance of risks, the MPC has decided that it would be prudent to maintain the current stance of monetary policy at this stage. Accordingly, the repurchase rate remains unchanged at 6.75% per annum. The QPM generates an endogenous interest rate path that implies an increase in the repo rate of 75 basis points by the end of 2019. We need to stress that this does not mean an unconditional commitment to change policy rates in line with this path. The forecasts and implied path are a broad guide to policy and not necessarily prescriptive. Depending on economic conditions, the MPC may choose to diverge from the suggested path, and alternative paths could be generated that are still consistent with achieving the inflation target. Collective judgment, therefore, remains critical. As always, MPC members need to weigh the risks to the forecast and assess the trade-offs. It is also the case that the implied path can change from meeting to meeting as the data and risks change. Thank you very much for your attention, and at this stage, I would like to turn to questions.